How cold can cold really get? What happens if we keep cooling and cooling until atoms barely move at all? That's what today's experiment is all about, finding absolute zero, the coldest possible temperature in the entire universe. As we approach absolute zero, amazing things begin to happen. Some materials lose all electrical resistance and become superconductors. Some liquids flow with zero viscosity, meaning that they can creep up walls or leak through impossibly small gaps. Low temperature physics is a fascinating field, and its ultimate limit is absolute zero. Now here's the weird part, we can't actually reach absolute zero, it's physically impossible. So how have we defined that point? How do we know that that magic value is minus 273.15 degrees C? To find out, let's go back in time to the pioneers of gas physics, Boyle, Charles, and Gay-Lussac. These scientists studied how gases behave as their state variables, pressure, volume, and temperature change. You might know their work from the ideal gas law, PV equals nRT, which combines all of their discoveries into one elegant equation. First came Boyle, who found that at constant temperature, the product between pressure and volume stays constant. If you want more on that, stick around to the end. We'll be linking to our Boyle's Law video there. Then came Charles and Gay-Lussac, who studied how the volume of a gas changes with temperature when the pressure is held constant. They found that volume is proportional to temperature, and crucially, this stays true across all gases. When they extrapolated their data, extending their lines backwards, they found that every line crossed the x-axis at the same point, minus 273.15 degrees C. Later, Gay-Lussac fixed the volume instead and found that pressure is also proportional to temperature. Again, on extrapolation, the same intercept is observed, and this isn't a coincidence. That intercept, where pressure or volume would reach zero, corresponds to zero temperature. Of course, this doesn't mean that we can actually reach that point. Quantum mechanics tells us that we can never remove all the energy from a system. Even at absolute zero, atoms retain a tiny zero-point energy thanks to Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. So absolute zero is not an attainable temperature, it's a limit. But it gives us a universal reference point for all temperature scales independent of material. So let's see if we can measure absolute zero in the lab using this, a Jolly bulb. Now this is based on Philip von Jolly's invention, the air thermometer. And it lets us follow in Gay-Lussac's footsteps and keep the volume constant and see the changes in pressure and temperature. Here's what you'll need: a kettle, the digital Jolly bulb, a thermometer, a quality beaker, a mixing bowl, and to make things easier, a clamp stand. We recommend setting up near a sink so that you can minimise spills and easily change the water. If you want to avoid mixing water altogether, you can set up a series of water baths, all at different temperatures, and then your students can move their Jolly bulb from one bath to another to collect their data set. Before starting, be sure to vent the bulb. We do this by removing and replacing the tubing from the sensor, and this makes sure that the gas inside the bulb is at ambient temperature and pressure. Make sure that you don't hold the bulb while you're doing this because it will affect the result. Now let's run the experiment. Start with freshly boiled water from the kettle. We need to be careful not to go over 80 degrees C, so check with a thermometer to make sure. Let's start a table of temperature and pressure. For our first data point, our water is at 71 degrees C, and we can suspend the Jolly bulb in the water up to the immersion line and record our first pressure reading. You'll have to wait for the reading to stabilise at that temperature. Next, mix in some cold water to reduce the temperature in roughly 5 degree steps and measure the pressure and temperature at each point. You'll want at least 7 data points, so 7 different temperatures for a reliable linear fit. Now that we've got our data, let's plot it. So you'll see I've plotted temperature on the y-axis and pressure on the x. Our data is giving us a straight line, so we can apply a linear fit. And the equation that models this line is given by these values here. So from this equation, the y-axis intercept, this term on the end here, is giving us absolute zero, and we get a value of minus 283.31 degrees C. If we work out percentage error by calculating the difference between our value and the known value, and dividing that by the known value and timesing by 100, we get 3.72% error. If you want to improve the accuracy, you can get a data point in ice water. This will help extend the range of your data and probably get you a little bit closer to absolute zero. Another way to extend the experiment is if you have access to other gases, you could flush the bulb with nitrogen or carbon dioxide and repeat the experiment. You'll find that although the slope changes, the x-axis intercept will remain the same, again demonstrating the universality of absolute zero. Alternatively, you can use your Jolly bulb as a thermometer and use it to work out the temperature of an unknown water bath. You do this simply by measuring the pressure with the Jolly bulb and reading the temperature off the graph. This is a neat little extension that helps students understand how they can use their data practically. So using a simple Jolly bulb, we have managed to estimate absolute zero to a high degree of accuracy whilst exploring the fundamental gas laws that underpin thermodynamics. For a full exploration of the gas laws, please check out our other videos on Boyle's law and Charles's law. The links are in the description below. If you found this video useful, please give this video a like and a share so that we can reach more science educators. Thanks for watching and see you next time.